Hello friends, it has been a while, which is something I seem to say in every video that I have made for the past year, and that's because I've been really remiss in making them. Which is fine, I've been up to other things and living a life, so I thought I would check in and share a few updates. I've got some pretty exciting things that have been occurring in the past few months, and they're probably a little bit more exciting for me than for you, so I might toss in a few other little interesting tidbits along the way. But first, I wanted to share my new desk setup. Before, I had two laptops. I had one for personal stuff, I had one for work, and a phone on my desk, and it was all very cramped and crowded. And for Christmas, Yvonne got me a setup with this big, beautiful monitor and this magic switch where you set up your two laptops on this, I don't know, magical docking station, and you can switch between the two just by pressing a button. So this is what I have been working with for the past 3 months, and it's amazing. And I'm going to insert a little bit of footage of this setup. I've got this really nice, I don't know what you call this, computer mat or placemat or whatever. And it's a little mushroom tableau. I got this off of a shop on Etsy, which I will share in the comments. So that is exciting thing one. Exciting thing two is I got married, and that's something I did not foresee. I kind of thought I was and this is going to sound so pathetic, but I thought I was the kind of person that people just didn't want to marry because it just always seemed to work out that way. But no, I got a really good egg and we got married. And this was mainly for very practical reasons. We've been together for 10 years, we've been living together, but we are moving to be closer to Yvonne's parents. So we thought getting a house and loans and finances and taxes and all of that kind of stuff might be easier if we were legally joined. So we did have a tiny ceremony at his parents' house, and I'll interrupt my story to make a brief costume change. For the past year or so, I keep buying myself really cute tops because I'm thinking, oh, that'll look lovely in a YouTube video. And then I don't make a YouTube video. So I thought throughout the course of this video, I'm going to wear all of the tops that I had planned on wearing throughout the past year. Anyway, I was telling a pathetic little story, but the end result is I had a little ceremony exactly the way I would have liked to have it, with nobody there and nobody looking at me, which is pretty perfect. I did kind of have a little bit of inspiration in that I wanted to evoke the spirit of a Studio Ghibli movie, sort of like enchanting and nostalgic and reminiscent of rustic folk tales. So I wore what I thought of as a sort of modern day Holly Hobby dress. I wore a straw hat and some boots and a shawl that I made myself. I actually knit up a shawl especially for the occasion, and then I didn't like it, so I used one that I knit previously. but it was a beautiful day, and Yvonne's parents made us a supper and a beautiful cake, and now I'm married. So what do you know about that? So I guess we just lost a little bit of light in this room, but that's okay. We'll keep going. Thing number 3, which I sort of alluded to, is that we are moving. I have lived in this house for 10 years now, and this is a town that I actually never thought that I would be living in again. This is the town I grew up in. I never really go anywhere, so it's not super weird that I am surrounded by all of the things from my childhood, because I just don't see them. I live in my own little world and in my own little house, and I'm a hermit. So I could probably live anywhere, and that's fine, but it will be nice to finally get out of this town. As some of you may know, I did live in New Jersey for a while, which was not a super great situation, and then I ended up coming back here when that didn't work out, and when my family members started falling ill and getting old, and I've been here ever since. So we are moving, as I said, to be closer to Yvonne's parents for a while, and we found a house a little bit away from where they live, and this is such a fun house. It's 4 bedrooms and 3 baths because we each need our own office. We work from home, and there's a guest room that we can put an actual proper guest bed in instead of terribly uncomfortable futons, and so nobody wants to stay with us because it's not an ideal situation, but we will have a proper guest room going forward. And I'm going to insert some footage of this place. We haven't set a closing date yet, but I have scheduled the movers, so I'm confident that this is going to happen. And this is just a neat house, and I'm really excited for it. And hopefully in the new place, I'll film some more videos. And so the final piece of news that I have been dying to share is that I may have mentioned, I'm sure I have over the past year, that I have been working on my second book. A release date is set for September 6th of this year, and we have finally got a cover, which I will show in a little bit more detail because you can't quite see it here. This is The Art of Darkness, a treasury of the morbid, melancholic, and macabre. And I feel like this is the project I was born to write. The Art of the Occult was great, and I had a good time writing it because I've always had an interest in the occult. But dark, eerie, haunting art has always had my heart. So I'm so excited to share some of my favorite works from classic artists, I suppose you could say, as well as contemporary visionaries, and delve into all of the themes and motifs and look at why these things aren't necessarily as dark or disturbing as we think. And if they are, if it is something that makes us desperately uncomfortable, why it's important to sit with these feelings. And so it's all about that and a lot of other stuff, and I'm just very excited about it, so much that I'm rambling, but it is up for pre-order now, and I don't want to say too much about it yet. This is part of a series, Art in the Margins. So The Art of the Occult was volume 1, The Art of Darkness will be volume 2, and this is to be a trilogy, so stay tuned. So that, as they say, is all the news that's fit to print. However, I thought I might also share some favorite things I've been enjoying lately, because I know I really enjoy seeing people stuff in things. This is something I've said so many times, and I know you guys do too. So I'm just going to run through a bunch of stuff really quickly, including this very cozy sweatshirt. This is from an Etsy shop called Wild Shadows, I think. I will link to them in the description box. But the seller has t-shirts and tote bags and sweatshirts inspired by literature. This Beauty is Terror quote, I believe, is from Donna Tartt's The Secret History, which I know is a favorite of so many of you guys. As a matter of fact, I think many of you were surprised that I had not read it until, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and I loved it. It encompasses so many of my favorite things, which, you know, we think of now as like a dark academia setting. I didn't always know that's what it was called. I just knew it was university students, sort of insular and weird and connecting and finding weirdness in common, and then more weirdness ensues. And it's usually in the form of a mystery or a murder, and sometimes there's occult or supernatural elements. And I have loved that sort of story ever since I read A.S. Byatt's Possession like 25 years ago. And so whenever I see a story like that become available, I am immediately intrigued. And so, of course, I adored The Secret History, and I love this sweatshirt, and I want everything that this lady sells in her shop. Okay, so I can't recall if I've mentioned this before, but A24, you know, the film company that makes all of our favorite crazy, weird movies, they also do candles, and I can't really get this to focus, but they're inspired by movie genres. This is fantasy, and it smells kind of fresh and clean. I kind of wish it were a little more, I don't know, mysterious or evocative of mystical forests, but you know, it's pleasant. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that, especially as I'm writing my new book. And there's a little hint for you there. Something I am absolutely obsessed with right now is using up all of the little bits and bobs of leftover sock yarn that I have. And I'm using that to create crazy striped socks. This is just one example. Let me take you to the sock room. And you will have to excuse the mess because we are in the midst of moving. But as you can see, there are many socks that have been created. Just a few kitchen items that I've really been loving. This oil dispenser is great. You can suck up the oil through here, and then you can squirt it out in the pan and whisk it around. That's a dirty pan. Okay, that was gross, but you get the idea. So a couple of months ago, my mother-in-law foisted these little Yoplait yogurts on me. And they come in these really cute glass pots that, if you are someone who hangs on to glass jars, which I think all of us people of a certain age, I think we all do this. But as you can see, they don't quite have a lid, right? This is just something you throw away. I found on something on Amazon, very cool. So let's go over to the spice cabinet. This is one of those Yoplait pots, right? This was, I think, maybe a seasonal thing. But on Amazon, they sell these little bamboo lids, and I think they're specifically made for these pots. And that's a really silly thing, but it's super cool. This is just some cheap oregano that I'm keeping in there right now. Is very silly and very frivolous, but I have discovered a love of tiny ice cubes. These are silicone trays. I just got them off of Amazon, and I use them in my tiny glasses. It's very adorable, and I am easily amused. Lastly, I have really been enjoying Memoir from Gucci. This is a scent that's somehow both crisp and dreamy, and it just smells like some sort of bittersweet nostalgia. I don't think I can describe it any better than that, but it is gorgeous. And as per my just before Christmas video, I am still wearing all of my jewelry at once. Well, you know, one finger or earring or limb at a time. Anyway, it is a whole glittery vibe. I highly recommend it. So yeah, I realize I've never given a tour of our house, and now is not the right time to do it, but you can see some of it behind me. And I just wanted to check in one last time while we were still in this abode. The next time I speak with you folks, we will hopefully be in the new house, and hopefully I will be a little bit more diligent about making videos. Until then, see you later, weirdos.